Hey guys, so today on Would You Please, Wade reviews The Creative Tarot, a modern guide to an inspired life by Jessica Crispin. So, stay tuned. So, I have had this book for a little while. I believe it was first published in February of this year, 2017. And at first glance, it seemed to me as though it would be a way to get you to really think outside the box in terms of the tarot, and even to perhaps develop your own personal tarot cards, because many of the inserts in this book, many of the photographs, are actually collage-like tarot cards. And so I thought that was going to be sort of the general theme of the book. As I began to read it, though, its actual theme was very, very different. So, yeah, it seems to me as though instead of being more creative with the tarot, because a good 95 to 98% of the book is simply a discussion of each tarot card, you know, just in a new way, using it's almost as if she's written sort of a thesis regarding the tarot cards, because each entry or each chapter rather is begins with sort of an italicized paragraph, sort of highlighting the general meaning of the cards. Then she writes a few pages about the card in a more detailed manner, trying to put it in perspective for more of a modern audience that is well versed in literature and art. So that is what the book is basically is. A good 95 to 90% of the book is just that. And as I began to think about it, it seemed to me as though the author were using the tarot as a metaphor. The book almost reads like a self-help book, in which the author uses the tarot as a metaphor to convey her ideas, to get one to better help themselves, in a sense. And in that vein, the book also seems like just another Tarot 101 book, but a Nouveau Tarot 101 book, because while it is a Tarot 101 book, it's written in a new fashion. It's written unlike any other Tarot 101 book that I've ever seen. And you definitely get the whole Tarot 101 aspect when you get to the final chapter, which is about tarot spreads, and the chapter after that is about performing tarot readings. But it's actually in the tarot spreads chapter that precedes it, where you find methods about, well, actually you find sort of very rudimentary tarot spreads that deal with using the tarot to sort of find your own blocks to creativity and how to possibly get past them. So in that sense, it's really sort of a self-help book on how to use the tarot to be a little more creative. I really didn't think that the book met its stated goal in the blurb when it says that the Creative Tarot is a unique guidebook that reimagines tarot cards and how they can boost the creative process. I don't think it really achieved that goal of boosting the creative process. Um, but I must admit though that each time I pick this book up and read from it, and I really don't have any explanation as to why this is, but every time I pick it up, every time I read from it, I am always inspired with a new idea for a tarot deck that I want to create. And I have been diligently jotting down all my ideas in my tarot journal at the very back. At the moment, I have an idea for the Fool card, the Hierophant, and I'm using sort of air quotes because I plan on actually subtly and I hope cleverly renaming these cards in my own deck. The Devil, the High Priestess, the Two of Cups, um, the Empress, and Temperance. So, one of these days, I really hope that I can find an artist with whom I can work to actually bring my vision to life. Um, I have an artist in mind, but whether or not they're willing to work with me is another story entirely. Because they seem either preoccupied or far too busy, either with their own projects or with their own life in general, which is fine. Um, I just hope they have a time, or I hope they come to a place in their life where they can settle down and devote their time to other projects that are commissioned. So that would be awesome because there's never really been another deck like the one that I'm imagining. So I'm really excited about it, and in sort of an offbeat sense, I really have this book to blame. Not in a bad way, but in sort of in a positive sense. Um, because the book itself isn't really about unleashing your own creativity because it's not really set up that way. It's really sort of a new discussion of each tarot card so that you can internalize it a little better. Even at the very end of each section of each tarot card, she lists recommended materials, which originally before I'd even read the book, after I just flipped through it, I thought these materials were the sources for the collage tarot cards that she had created for the um, photographs within the book, but they're not. They're just sort of her references that she relied upon while writing that text. So so yeah, it's just a very Nouveau Tarot 101 book. Um, I don't not recommend it, but I don't necessarily recommend it either. It's sort of in a gray area with me right now. Um, would it be worth your time? I'm not sure. It depends entirely on you whether or not you want to um, whether or not you really need to know or to be able to internalize the tarot cards. Still, if you don't, if you've been a seasoned tarot reader for many, many years, perhaps you can, pass it up. If you want to see how someone has sort of reimagined the tarot cards, give it a go. You never know. So that has been my very first review, and I hope you've liked it. And until we meet again, keep calm and witch on.